Um, the courage to heal, embracing your inner child. When was the last time you looked at a photo of yourself as a child? Not just glanced, but really looked into those eyes that hadn't yet seen all they would see. That smile that hadn't yet learned when to hide itself. There's something profoundly moving about reconnecting with that younger version of ourselves, something that can break us open in ways we never expected. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Nicole Lawson, a truly extraordinary trauma coach whose work has transformed countless lives through inner child healing. Nicole isn't just another wellness professional. She's a revolutionary force whose approach to helping high achieving individuals, particularly those who've experienced profound loss, it has created ripples of healing that extend far beyond her immediate circle. Her insights form the foundation of what I am sharing today, and her impact on making the world a gentler, more compassionate place cannot be overstated. In a culture obsessed with productivity and perfection, Nicole stands as a beacon for those seeking authentic wholeness. What struck me most about Nicole's work was a simple truth. The wounds we carry from childhood don't just disappear because we grow taller, earn degrees, or build successful careers. They shape how we love, how we trust, and most importantly, how we treat ourselves. For many of us, especially those who identify as strong Black women, we've spent decades perfecting the art of survival. We've built impressive careers, supported our families, held communities together, all while carrying unhealed parts of ourselves, parts that whisper, "You're not enough. You don't deserve rest. If people really knew you, they wouldn't love you." These aren't random thoughts. They're echoes from our past, echoes that Nicole Lawson helps people transform into whispers of self compassion. Consider the story of a Black woman entrepreneur Nicole worked with. After losing her mother at a young age, she developed a pattern of sabotaging relationships whenever they became too intimate. On paper, her life looked perfect: successful business, impressive network, the works. But inside, she was terrified of abandonment, constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. Through inner child therapy, she began accessing those vulnerable parts formed during childhood. Using guided visualization, she would imagine sitting with her younger self, that little girl who suddenly lost her mother and concluded the world wasn't safe. Through journaling and consistent practice, she started identifying the roots of her emotional patterns. "I realized I wasn't just running from potential partners," she told Nicole. "I was running from the possibility of loss. Every time someone got close, my inner child would panic and pull the emergency brake." Over several months, something remarkable happened. Not only did her personal relationships improve, but her business relationships transformed too. She stopped expecting betrayal around every corner. She built a network of other Black women entrepreneurs on similar healing journeys. Her story inspired dozens in her community to seek support for their own inner child work. This is what happens when we have the courage to turn toward our pain instead of away from it. It's like cleaning out an infected wound, painful in the moment, but essential for true healing. The alternative, covering it up and pretending it isn't there, only allows the infection to spread, affecting every aspect of our lives in ways we may not even recognize. But here's what's fascinating, and what Nicole Lawson emphasized in her work: healing doesn't always happen through words alone. Sometimes our deepest wounds exist in places language can't reach. Take Ray's story, shared by trauma specialist Dr. Peter Levine. As a veteran with PTSD, Ray found traditional talk therapy completely ineffective. Trying to verbalize his trauma only intensified his symptoms. His body would freeze, his thoughts would scatter, and he'd leave sessions feeling worse than when he arrived. Everything changed when he was introduced to somatic healing techniques. Rather than forcing himself to recount traumatic memories, Ray learned how his body stored trauma responses. Through grounding exercises like the self hug technique, he created a felt sense of safety within himself. The first time I felt my body relax without medication was revolutionary, Ray shared. I didn't have to find the right words. I just had to be present with what my body was telling me. After years of emotional isolation, Ray gradually reconnected, first with family members, then by joining a community group supporting other veterans. His journey reminds us that healing sometimes happens below the level of language, in the wisdom of our bodies. This is particularly relevant for those of us in the Black community, where historical and generational trauma lives not just in our stories, but in our very selves. As Nicole Lawson points out, sometimes the most profound healing happens when we give ourselves permission to feel without having to explain or justify those feelings to anyone. But what about those experiencing acute grief? Those navigating the aftermath of profound loss? Nicole shared insights from a 6-week spiritual inner child healing program she developed specifically for people processing early life losses or parental bereavement. Participants often arrive feeling completely disconnected from themselves, their grief manifesting as low self worth or inability to trust others. Through a combination of guided meditations, creative expression assignments, and group sharing circles that facilitated safe vulnerability, participants experienced remarkable breakthroughs. Many reported finally being able to forgive themselves for not being enough. Others rebuilt trust after betrayal or losses in adult relationships. All developed daily habits fostering open hearted self love. One participant joined the program shortly after her father's death, which had triggered an identity crisis. I built my entire life around making my dad proud, she shared. Without him, I didn't know who I was anymore. Through the program, she discovered that her father's death, while devastating, could also catalyze new spiritual growth. By reflecting on formative experiences that shaped her current fears and trust barriers, she found herself reconnecting with parts of herself she'd abandoned long ago. I realized I wasn't just grieving my father, she told the group. I was grieving the little girl who never felt good enough, who was always trying to earn love instead of believing she deserved it already. By the program's end, she had established clear boundaries at work and home. She launched a passion project she'd been putting off for years. Eventually, she became a peer mentor, guiding newcomers along similar paths toward wholeness. This program now serves hundreds annually across cultures, its influence extending into professional networks where graduates openly advocate for mental health and self care. What these stories share, what Nicole Lawson's work illuminates so beautifully, is that healing is both deeply personal and universally human. Whether we're processing childhood abandonment, service related trauma, or the death of a loved one, the path forward requires us to do something counterintuitive, to turn toward our pain rather than away from it. For those who've spent years in survival mode, especially high achieving Black women who've mastered the art of pushing through, of being strong for everyone else, This message resonates profoundly. We've worn our capes for so long we've forgotten they were never meant to be permanent attire. Nicole Lawson's work reminds us that true strength isn't found in denial or in pushing past our limits. It's found in the courage to acknowledge our wounds, to sit with our inner children, and to offer them what they've always needed: presence, compassion, and unconditional love. So, where do we begin this journey? Nicole suggests three powerful steps. First, acknowledge and embrace your inner child. Healing starts with recognizing the pain and fears rooted in childhood experiences. By acknowledging these wounds, you begin understanding how they shape your relationships, trust issues, and ability to accept love. Second, face your fears directly. Healing is an active journey. True transformation comes from courageously confronting what hurts. Whether through therapy, spiritual practices, or self reflection, facing the source of pain is essential for growth and self love. Third, remember that self love is a continual process. Learning to love yourself openly, even after loss or heartbreak, is not a one time event, but an ongoing practice that deepens over time as you reconnect with your authentic self. I want to leave you with this challenge. Tomorrow morning, find a photograph of yourself as a child. Look into those eyes. Really see that child, their hopes, their fears, their pure capacity for joy. And ask yourself, what does this child need from me now? What have they been waiting to hear? What wounds still need tending? Then place your hand over your heart and make this promise. From this day forward, I will no longer abandon you. I will listen when you speak. I will honor your needs. I will protect your boundaries. And I will love you, not for what you achieve or how you perform, but simply because you exist. This isn't just a nice sentiment, it's revolutionary. In a world built on productivity, perfectionism, and perpetual striving, choosing to love yourself unconditionally is an act of rebellion. It disrupts the systems that profit from your self doubt. It challenges the narratives that keep you running on empty. And most importantly, it heals not just you, but everyone around you. Because when you heal your inner child, you change how you parent, how you lead, how you love, how you create. You break generational patterns. You model wholeness for others. The journey won't be linear. There will be days when old patterns resurface, when the critic's voice grows loud, when the cape feels temptingly familiar. But now you know the truth. The path to healing isn't away from your pain, it's through it. And you don't have to walk it alone. Your inner child has been waiting for you, for your attention, for your compassion, for your love. It's time to come home to yourself.